Aloha, welcome to Kulāiwi. O keia ka helu umi kumakahi I nā ho'ike umi kumalua. This is the 11th in a series of 12 Hawaiian language classes. Today we'll be reviewing some of the things that we've learned, like make. Once again, make and aya mahea, where are certain things. Today's vignette takes us to Antilehua's hale. Hele, okay, we're going to do this in Hawaiian and hopefully maupopeia oko, okay? Hele o kunane, lawa o pualei, I ka hale o ana ke lehua. Lave, take, lave laua I ka makana no ana ke lehua. No ka mea, because make laua e ha'avi. Mapope oko ha'avi? Do you remember that one? Give. E ha'avi I ka makana ia ana ke lehua. Hau'oli o ana ke lehua e ike ia laua. Make laua e aloha aku ia ana ke lehua. How many of you followed me on that? Shall we try that again? Okay, we'll try again. Hele o kunane, laua o pualei, I ka hale o ana ke lehua. Make laua e ha'awi I ka makana ia ana ke. No ka mea, aloha laua ia ana ke lehua. Hau'oli loa o ana ke lehua e ike ia laua. Okay? How is that? Are you sitting there going, wow, I think I almost understood that whole thing. We're going to count all the way to 10, and at the end of umi, from ekahi a umi, then we'll see the vignette. Okay? Like magic. Ta-da! Umi. Okay, and then the vignette pops on. But if you don't do it, we don't see the vignette. Okay, so are you ready? Mako, ko, oko? Okay, now you should all be sitting in your hale going, I. Okay, hana ho, mako, ko, oko? Mai kai. Okay, hiki no. Helu. E kahi, e lua, e kolu, e ha, e lima, e ono, e hiku, e valu, e iwa, umi.
Make wau I iki a ana ke lehua.
Ai, make wau e ha'awi a ana ke lehua I ka makana.
Ai, hiki no.
Mahalo.
Hui, e ana ke lehua. Hui, e ana ke lehua.
Aue, ai hea o ana ke lehua.
Aia oia I loko ka hale. Hui, e ana ke lehua. Aia oia I loko ka hale.
Hui, aloha mai kunane. Aloha mai pualei. Oh, hau'oli e ike o lua I ke ia la.
Ke ha'oi ke ia la.
Mai ka ino wau mahalo a ka nui ka hana makalumi kuke. E koma mai loko ka hale.
Ai, mahalo e ana ke.
Pea ka ohana e kunani.
Mai ka ino.
Oh, e pualei ai ihe o ke alohi.
Ai oia makahale o tutu.
Oh, mai ka I.
E ana ke ai hea o moke.
O ka ukeki, ai oia ma ke kula.
E, ai hea ka pu'olu.
Ai ia no ka whakakau.
Oh, hea ke ia.
E makana ke ia mai ka mokupuni o Maui.
Oh, a hea ke ia.
He ia kina, make ai ka ia.
Oh, ai, make loa wau e ai ka ia. He ia ono ke ia. Mahalo. He hake ia.
He poi awa kena.
Ai, he poi awa no. Mahalo nui loa, make wau e ai ka poi me ka ia. He hake ia.
He kipi kina.
Oh, he kipi. Oh, mahalo no ke ia makana. Hau'oli wau I kia manawa. No ka mea ua make wau e ike ia o lua. Mahalo nui. Pia e kunane, make oi ka mea inu.
Ai, make wau I ka waihu ihu I ke olu oe.
A hiki no pehea oi e pualei maki oi ka me inu.
Ole mai ka ia a ka. Aia ka lumi ho'opau pilikia.
O, aia ka lumi ho'opau pilikia ma o.
E anake, a iha ka pōpoki.
O, aia ka pōpoki ma lalo ka pākaukau.
Mahalo.
E ana ke lehua he hale nani loa ke ia.
Ai, he hale olu ke ia.
Mahalo e na keiki, he manawa mai ka ike ia no ka mea ua hau oliva e ike ia o lua.
Aloha. Hey, pehea. I guess we did pretty good at our counting. Ua puka mai ke ia ki I oni, no leila mai ka ike la. Ai hiki no. No leila. Let's go to our lesson. Okay, let's take a look at what we said first. Make. Let's go back to that. Remember, we've seen make au I kapoi, make au I kai'a, make au I ke kumu. Okay, make au I ke keiki. But when we begin to use verbs, like I want to eat something, I want to do something, I want to go somewhere. That little tu is e, remember? Make au e ike, ia ana ke lehua. Hiki no? Make au e ike, ia ana ke lehua. Ike. Okay, important word. Remember we had this couple of weeks back. We talked about how ike meant knowledge. It also means to see. Okay, make au e ike ia ana ke lehua. Hikino, let's take a look at how that looks. Okay, make au e ike ia ana ke lehua, and let's take a look at this ia right here. We've seen this before, and I want to make sure we say something about it. In Hawaiian, you have two things that you put in front of the person who gets the action, okay, who receives the action. And that's I or ia, like you see here, okay? Now, if it was, I want to see my auntie, then we would have I ko'u ana ke, okay? I ko'u ana ke. Hiki no? No laila. Makimakeau e ike I ko'u ana ke. I want to see my auntie. We're using I, okay? Makimakeau e ike I ko'u ana ke. But the minute we begin to use a name, okay, then we have to change that I to ia, okay? Makimakeau e ike ia ana ke lehua, okay? Or if I want to see you, makimakeau e ike ia oi, okay? So ia is used with names or it's used with pronouns, okay? Makimakeau e ike ia oi, makimakeau e ike ia o ko, makimake o ko e ike ia'u. Now what happened, okay? Let's take a look at that. Ia, we've had, you've heard me just say ia oi, I. And then you heard me say ia oko, okay? But there's two that's a little different, and that's when you want to say something like, I want to see him. Makimakeau e ike iaia. Hikino? Makimakeau e ike iaia. Where did this ia come from? It came from oia. Now, so long as he or she is doing the action, then it's oia. But as soon as he or she or it is receiving the action, it gets marked with ia instead of o. Okay? So iaia. Hikino? Ia oi, ia oko, iaia. And then you heard me just now say ia'u. Well, ia'u is the contraction of ia plus o. So if I want to ask you, do all of you want to see me? I wouldn't say makimake oko e ike iau. It's makimake oko e ike, ia'u, ia'u, okay? Ia plus au is ia'u. That's probably the only strange one that we have when it comes to the object, when it comes to the person who's receiving the action and its marker, okay? Turns to ia'u. So you've heard like, or maybe you've heard in songs when they say, I love you, aloha wau ia oi. That's what that ia is. It's just a marker. It just goes right before the person who's receiving the action, if it's a pronoun or a name, okay? If I wanted to say, you know, I love Lani, aloha wau ia Lani, okay? I love all of you, aloha wau ia o kou, hikino? What if it's, do you love them too? Are you thinking? Do you, all of you, love them too? Aloha o kou ia laua. Aloha o kou ia laua. So you see that ia? That's the only time that you use it. But if it was, do all of you love your mother? Aloha o kou I kou makua hine. Yeah, because now mother is not a pronoun and it's not a name, okay? So it's an I. Aloha o kou I kou makua hine, okay? And say, yeah, all of us love our mother, love my mother. I, aloha ma kou I kou makua hine. Hikino, kou, okay? Hikino. Now that we've established that and we've cleared that ya up, let's take a look at lengthening that sentence again, yeah? Make makeo e ha'avi. Ha'avi, what was that word? We talked about that. To give. Make makeo e ha'avi ya'ana ke lani I ke ia makana. Hanaho. Make makeo e ha'avi. Ha'avi. Okay? Sometimes, you know, if you dance hula, it's a snap to learn Hawaiian because then you see things instead of trying to translate it. Okay? So if you do it with me, I know you feel like you're a little bit strange, but I promise it's going to help, okay? Make makeo e ha'avi. And which way are we going to ha'avi? Ha'aviaku. Yeah, we can get a little bit fancy. We can sound real Hawaiian, okay? Make makeo e ha'aviaku ya'ana ke lani or ya'ana ke lehua I ke ia makana. Makana. Is that a word that's stumping you? Are you sitting there going, what is that, makana? Gift, present, okay? Hanaho. Make makeo e ha'avi ya'ana ke lehua I ke ia makana. Okay? What if it was a book instead of a makana? Then you just change makana to puke. Okay? It's a snap. Hanaho. Make makeo e ha'avi ya'ana ke lehua I ke ia puke. Yeah? What if it wasn't ana ke lehua and it was Uncle Kimo? Make makeo e ha'avi aku, because we're a little bit fancy, e ha'avi aku ya'ana kala kimo I ke ia puke. Hikido? Let's take a look and see how we can change that around. Kalamani. Make makeo e ha'avi, and we put in aku, okay, because we want to get fancy. We want to sound as Hawaiian as we can. We don't want anybody saying, oh, you only first year can tell, okay? Aku, we want to put that directional in. Make makeo e ha'avi aku ya'ana ke lehua, and here's the new part. I ke ia makana, okay? Now we can change this. We can change anything we want in this sentence. We can change what they're going to give. Yeah, instead of keia makana, we can change it to my chair. I want to give anakelehua my chair. So how do we do that? We change keia makana to ko'u noho. Hikino? See that? Make makiao he avi aku ia anakelehua I ko'u noho. Maybe she don't have noho at her house. Yeah, I don't know, the looks of her house, she had everything. Okay, make makiao e ha'avi aku ia ana ke lehua I ko'u noho. Okay? Hikino. So you can see how you can change things. You can change the person who wants to do something. You can change what they want to do. You can change who you're going to do it to and what you're doing it with. Okay? See, so there's all these different things that you can change around. And that's up to you depending on what you want to say. Okay? What if you wanted to say, I want to drive the car, okay? Makimakiel e kalaiva ike ka'a. What did we change there? The verb. Kalaiva, like driver, get it? Kalaiva. Makimakiel e kalaiva ike ka'a. Makimakiel e kalaiva iko ka'a. If you have a Jaguar, yeah? Makimakiel e kalaiva iko ka'a. Makimaki oi e kalaiva I ko'uka'a. Makimaki oi e kalaiva I ko'uka'a. Hiki no. Okay, so you see, you can change things around. Think about how you would do it. Okay, she hands her the pu'olo, and Anakele, who is so happy to see it's i'a. And so Pu'ole says, Makimaki oi e ai I kai'a e Anakele hua. Make oi e ai I kai'a e Anakele hua. I'a. We got that right? I'a. Make oi e ai kai'a e Anakele hua. Let's take a look. Okay. Make oi e ai kai'a e Anakele hua. What if she says, I like to eat fish? Are you thinking what's going to change in the question? Because remember, in Hawaiian, a statement is also a question, just depending on how you say it. It doesn't matter about the structure of the words or the sentence. All that matters is the way it sounds. So listen to this question. Make oe ai kai'a. Remember I told you, it peaks in the middle, drops at the end. That's a Hawaiian question. Make oe ai kai'a e Anakele hua. And she responds, Anakele hua responds, I like to eat i'a. What do we need to change? Have you gotten it? Mai kae. We're going to change oi to au. Hikino. I makimakeao e ai. Let's just cover this. I makimakeao e ai ikai'a. Hikino. That's how simple. Everything stays the same. You just change who's going to do it. Gosh, speaking Hawaiian is so easy. Okay, they're standing outside of Anakele Hua's door, and he's going, he's ringing his Hawaiian doorbell. Hui, Anakele Hua. And they're waiting, and then Anakele Hua never shows up. So Pu'ole turns around and says, Awe, I hear Anakele Hua. I hear, I am here. Okay? I hear o Anakele Hua. Remember that okina o Anakele hua is just to mark who we're talking about when it's a name. Hikino? Okay, let's take a look at that and go through this. Ai hea o Anakele hua. Now remember I told you that this E, because I know that some of you are learning Hawaiian language and you're going, wait, but we had ma over there instead. E or ma, whichever one you're happy with. And this O is because we're talking about this person. Okay? This person didn't receive any action, so it doesn't get ia, it gets an o. Okay? It's the subject of the sentence. I hear o Anakele hua. So that's the subject marker, that little o over there. Okay? And Kulāiwi responds, Aya oe iloko kahale. Aya oya iloko kahale. We had iloko. Yeah, where's iloko? Upstairs, downstairs, okay, inside, Aya oya iloko kahale. Okay? Remember, anytime you're going to talk about where something is at, it starts out with aya. Hikino? Okay. And so he calls and he goes, Hui, Anakele hua. Aya oi iloko kahale. Aya oi iloko kahale. Can you say that with me? Aya oi iloko kahale. Okay. This is a question, so you have to say it like a question. Aya oi iloko kahale. What if she wants to say I. I'm here in the house, inside the house, and she never opens the door. She just stands behind the door and goes, yeah, here, I'm inside the house. Okay, what would she say? Do you remember what I said if it was, here I am? Okay, eia. Eia iloko o ka hale. Hikino? Okay? The only part that changed was eia. Why? Because eia is here. Yeah, you cannot say there I am. That's kind of weird, yeah. Eia, here I am inside of the house. Okay? Eia iloko ka hale. Hikino? Okay. So that's how we would say it. This is a little new, well, kind of new pattern. We can try this one, okay? Nui kahana. And what do you think it means? I'll give you some time to think about this. We know that hana is work and or activity or to do, okay? Nui kahana, plenty work, maka lumi kuke, in the lumi kuke, okay? Lumi kuke is a Holly word, okay? Lumi coming from the word rumi, and kuke coming from the word cook. So the cook room, okay? And what is that? You know, if we all walked around saying the cook room, we would probably be more clear about where we're at. The kitchen, okay? So nui kahana makalumi kuke. All right. She says, come inside the house. Can you tell me what that is? I don't want to tell you. I want you to tell me. Okay? Come inside the house. Remember I told you there's two words for come. One that says come inside, one that says enter, and one that says just come this way. What does she want to say? Okay? Are you thinking? Okay, is that ehele mai? And you should all be sitting there going, ah ole. Then what is it? Heaha. E komo mai. Polole mai kai. E komo mai. Olua. Right? Because there's two of them outside. E komo mai olua iloko o kahale. Iloko o kahale. Hikino? Hanaho. E komo mai olua iloko o kahale. Take a look at that one. Okay? E komo mai olua. Okay, we could keep it or we could leave it off, but we're going to put it in. E komo mai olua iloko kahale. Hikino? If you want to be more complete, you can put olua in, but actually it's understood who she's talking to. So you could get away with just saying e komo mai iloko kahale. But if you want to be more complete and address e komo mai olua iloko kahale. Hikino? Okay. Let's go back to our aya sentences. I'm going to give you this one, and I'm not going to translate for you except for this word and this word, okay? Pu'olo, a bundle, a package, okay, or something. Pakoko, table, okay? So, are you thinking, what could that be? There's only one word you don't know, but you do know the pattern that it's saying where something is, okay? So, let's play Jeopardy. What would the question be for this sentence? Dun, 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 dun. Aya mahea kapu'olo. Aya mahea kapu'olo. Aya kapu'olo maluna o kapakaukau. Aya mahea kapu'olo. Aya kapu'olo maluna o kapakaukau. So does this say that the pu'olo is under the table? Does it say it's on top of the table? It says it's on top of the table. Aya kapu'olo maluna o kapakaukau. Aole malalo o kapakaukau. Hikino? Maluna, malalo, maloko, mawaho. All of these words that we've had before. Hikino? Okay, let's take a look at another one. He says, Kunani, I think, says to Anakelehua, I am here kapopoki. I am here kapopoki. Yeah, popoki. I don't have to translate popoki for you, huh? Okay. I am here kapopoki. And she tells him, oh, I am kapopoki malalo o kapakau. Now we know that the pu'olo is maluna o ka pākaukau, and now the popoki is malalo o ka pākaukau. Okay, so let's try. Aia ka popoki, malalo o ka pākaukau. Hana ho. Aia ka popoki, malalo o ka pākaukau. You know? Okay, let's take a look at aia ka popoki, malalo o ka pākaukau. Aia ka popoki, malalo o ka pākaukau, just like I told you, okay? Now, Puale asks, Aia mahea or aia I hea ka lumi ho'opau pilikia. Okay? Ta-ta-da-dan. Okay? Lumi ho'opau pilikia. It seems like a long word, but take a look at its pieces. We've had this before. In fact, in one of our real early shows, someone asked, how do you say bathroom? Okay? Lumi ho'opau, a place where you end all your pilikia. Okay? Aia ka lumi ho'opau pilikia ma'o. We've had ma'o before when we watched the girls go through the garden. Okay? And we heard them say, Aia ka pua melia ma'o. Ma'o. Do you remember that? Over there. Okay? Aia ka pua melia ma'o. Hikido? So this is Aia ka lumi ho'opau pilikia ma'o. And what was the question for this? Jeopardize this again, okay? What's the question for Aia ka lumi ho'opau pilikia ma'o? Are you thinking? Ke no'o nei o ko? Ai, no'o. And you go, no'o what? No'o to think, okay? No'o o ko? Ai, okay. How many of you said it was Aia I hea ka lumi ho'opau pilikia? Mai kae, okay? Polole. Ai hea ka lumi ho'opau pilikia. Mai kae. Okay, let's look at a new pattern. We've had it before, but I think we may have forgotten, okay? How do you say, what is this, okay? Because she picks up all these things out of the hina'i, out of the basket, and she says, hea keia. Hea keia. Yeah, and she says it over and over again. Picks up something and goes, hea keia. Picks up the chips, hea keia. So she says, what is this? Can you tell me? Hea keia. Now, just hearing that question, hea keia, you should be able to answer it. Remember, I told you when we have questions like, o wai ko inoa, the wai dropped out and the answer went in, right? O wai ko inoa, o e keala ko uinoa, right? Same thing like this pattern. Hea keia. And you could say, hea keia. Okay? This is a fish. You know? Let's take a look. Hea keia. Hea keia. This part is the question word. And that's the part that will drop out and the response can go in. Now, if you're sitting in enough, close enough so that when somebody says, hea keia, you can answer with keia, that works, okay? Let's take a look at this. Hea keia. Hea keia. Okay? Hanaho. Hea keia. Hea keia. You see how the answer goes right into the word, into the question word space? Aha is the question. Ia. Hea keia. Hea keia. Hikino? Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Hea ono loa keia. Now we're describing the kind of ia. Okay? Hea ono loa keia. Okay? So you remember now that when you're describing something, it goes in the back. Okay? It doesn't go up in the front. Hea ono loa keia. Hikino? Now, if you're far away, well, not far away, but you can't say keia when you answer, you use kena. He poi keia, I he poi kena. Now what's happened? Let's talk a little bit about this. Is this poi? Yeah? He poi keia. And the response is, yes, that is poi. Okay? Kena. That. Okay? this and that. So this shouldn't be confusing anyone and thinking that, oh, this is here and this is there. No, this is this, keia, and kena is that. But I know some of you may be saying, well, what happened to the kela one? Because I know kela is also that. Remember kela? Okay. Well, let me explain the difference between kena and kela. Point to something and say that. Just point to something and say that, okay? Now look where you're pointing. If that is near to the person that you're talking to, then it's kena. But if that you're pointing to is away from both of you, then it's kela, okay? Now that's really simple. If you just think about it, if somebody asks you, he poi keia, okay? He poi keia, then the response will have to be kena, right? Because if somebody is able to say keia, like say I say this, he penny keia. If I ask you, he penny keia, like I was some kind of lolo, he penny keia, and you want to tell me, he penny kena, okay? Why are you going to use kena? Because that you're talking about is near the person you're talking to, who's me, okay? So we try that again. He penny keia, and your response should be, he penny kena. But if we're talking about something that's out over there, okay, and I tell you, he penny kela, then you would have to say, he penny kela, because it's not near me anymore. That over there is kela, okay? You use kena only when you're referring to that which is near the person who's listening, okay? Are you connecting with me? Okay. Last one. Last, she says, mahalo no keia makana, okay? Mahalo no keia makana, okay? We all know what mahalo is. I think we got everything else, but the no is for, okay? Mahalo no keia makana. You could change keia to ka, yeah? Mahalo no ka makana. But only way she could change this to kena is if Puale was holding it and she was talking to Puale and she said, mahalo no kena makana, okay? That probably would be the only way. Okay, can we go to our vignette and review that with all that we've learned, and hopefully you can sit there and understand what's going on. Ahui ho aku right after this vignette. Aloha.
Makemake wau I iki a ana ke lehua.
Ai, makemake wau e ha'awia ana ke lehua I ka makana.
Ai, hiki no.
Mahalo.
Hui, e ana ke lehua. Hui, e ana ke lehua.
Aue, ai hea ana ke lehua.
Aia oia I loko ka hale. Hui, e ana ke lehua. Aia oia I loko ka hale.
Hui, aloha mai kunane. Aloha mai Puale. Oh, how ole iki o lua iki ia la.
He ha'oi ke ia la.
Mai ka ino wao mahalo a ka nui ka hana makalumi kuke. E koma mai loko ka hale.
Ai, mahalo e ana ke.
Pea ka ohana e kunani.
Mai ka ino.
Oh, e Puale ai ihe o ke alohi.
Ai oia makahale o tutu.
Oh, mai kai.
E ana ke ai hea o moke.
O ka ukeki,
Ai.
ai oia ma ke kula.
E, ai hea ka pu'olu.
Ai ia mana o ka whakakau.
Oh, hea ke ia.
E makana ke ia mai ka mokupuni o Maui.
Oh, a hea ke ia.
He ia kina, makemake ai ka ia.
Oh, ai, makemake loa wau e ai ka ia. He ia ono ke ia. Mahalo. Hea ke ia.
He poi awa kena.
Ai, he poi awa no. Mahalo nui loa, makemake wau e ai ka poi me ka ia. Hea ke ia.
He kipi kina.
Oh, he kipi. Oh, mahalo no ke ia makana. Hau oli wau I kia manawa. No ka mea ua makimaki wau e ike ia o lua. Mahalo nui. Pia e kunane, makimaki oi ka mea inu.
Ai, makimaki wau I ka waihu I ke olu oe.
A hiki no pia oi e pualei makimaki oi ka mea inu.
A ole mai ka ia a ka aia ka lumi ho pau pilikia.
O, aia ka lumi ho pau pilikia ma o.
E ana ke, a ihea ka pōpoki.
O, aia ka pōpoki ma lalo ka pākaukau.
Oh. Ai, mahalo.
E ana kele hua he hale nani loa ke ia.
Ai, he hale olu ke ia.
Mahalo e na keiki, he manawa mai ka ike ia no ka mea ua hau oli wau e ike ia o lua.
Okay, was that better? Did you pick up on the Heha Keia when she picks up the poi and he says, ah, he poi ava kena. Ava, sawa, okay? My thing is kind of weird to take sour poi to somebody, but if you know they like sour poi, you know, then you take them sour poi. You know, so they decide Auntie Lehua likes sour poi. She does, and she says, ai, ono ka poi ava me kaia. Ai? Okay, we're going to take some time for you to think, and it's going to be really short, but if you just look at the situation and then practice later on, we're going to do that for maybe about half a minute, and then I'll take that phone call that's waiting, okay? Because I know this person has the answer to the keia kena kila question. Okay, so I'll see you in about half a minute, okay? Hui hou. It's not so much the giving part, that's the aloha, you know, and that's what today's value is, it's aloha. It's just taking the time to share good feelings and good mana'o and just being, you know, aloha, just sharing your goodness and your kindness and your aloha. Oh, what more can I say? And you know, sometimes I think that word is really abused, that we use aloha spirit, this, aloha that. But if we really, really deep down inside understand what aloha is, it's beyond hi, goodbye, I miss you, hello, you know, it's like when you see, like I know, like when I see my babies or I see my oldest daughter after school, not having seen them all day, and I would say you see them, it's like, that's aloha. That's that feeling of, oh, I miss you, you know, I'm so happy to see you. It's all of that combined. And, you know, that feeling of not you just want to squeeze them, but it's just that good feeling just coming up inside of you. And I hope that's what you feel when you see others, when you feel, you know, when you walk around and you look, when you hear Hawaiian language. It's time for me to go. So pono wau e olelo, a hui ho aku, a malama pono, a hala no ka oko nana ana mai ke ia polo kalamu, na kia koe ho'opo mai ka ia oko a pau. E ola mau ka olelo Hawai'i. Hui ho ti kuanoni me ka le aloha. Aloha.